Okay, picture this. Caitlin Clark, your favorite ball-busting, jaw-dropping phenom, gets a $100 million offer to head up a brand new Saudi-backed basketball league. Yep, you heard that right. The WNBA might just be getting side hustled out of its own house. Who's knocking on the door? What's the play? Buckle up, folks. This is about more than just cash. Let's dive in.
So, in what is huge basketball news, we have to talk about Project B, which is obviously a league that has been set up by Maverick Carter, and people have been talking about that for a long time. People have been talking about this for quite a while. So,
setting the stage, the WNBA's highs, lows, and looming problems. Before we talk about Saudi billions and Caitlin Clark's potential Scrooge McDuck money dive, let's rewind and look at where the WNBA stands right now. Because this is the perfect storm brewing, and it didn't happen overnight. So, 2025, the WNBA just wrapped another electric season, led by none other than Aja Wilson, who's basically building her own wing in the Hall of Fame before she even retires. She just made history, the first player ever to win MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, and the scoring title in the same season. That's like winning the NBA, the Defensive Player, and the Heisman in the same year, if the Heisman involved swatting shots into orbit. And the Las Vegas Aces? They're so dominant, it's getting ridiculous. Third championship in 4 years. At this point, the Aces don't even have rivals. They've got recurring victims. Everything looks golden, right? Well, here's where the champagne glass cracks. Because underneath the highlight reels and sold-out arenas, the WNBA's got some serious off-court drama brewing. The league is heading into a new collective bargaining agreement, and trust me, it's about to get spicy. Star players are calling out the league's leadership like it's a roast session. Minnesota Lynx superstar Napheesa Collier basically lit up Commissioner Cathy Engelbert, accusing her of not leading the league with any real vision or transparency. And guess what? A lot of players sided with Collier. So now you've got this wild situation where the league's own players are beefing with the front office, publicly. Not behind closed doors, not in quiet meetings, on podcasts, in interviews on social media. It's like the league's biggest stars are saying, hey, we're tired of the corporate PR speeches. Show us some actual leadership. And fans are catching on. The vibe online isn't all glitter and empowerment hashtags anymore. You've got fans saying the players are carrying this league, not the execs. And they're not wrong. These athletes are putting the product on their backs while still flying commercial. Imagine dropping 40 points in a playoff game and then boarding a connecting flight to Cleveland next to a crying toddler. Yeah, no thanks. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, there's another storm brewing because Collier isn't just talking, she's doing. She co-founded her own league, Unrivaled, alongside Breanna Stewart, and it's growing fast. It's a 3-on-3 format with a fresh vibe, shorter, flashier, built for the highlight generation. Think of it as basketball's answer to pop-up concerts. And guess what? Players love it. Why? Because Unrivaled offers something the WNBA doesn't. Flexibility, profit sharing, and a sense that they actually own part of what they're building. The WNBA suddenly has competition, not just from overseas, but from within its own locker rooms. So buckle up, because this next part makes LIV Golf look like a charity fundraiser.
let's see here. Speculation bubble for months about potential of the National Men's and Women's League that would involve Carter as an advisor and could potentially pose a threat to both current NBA and WNBA. I don't think it'll be a threat to the WNBA and the NBA. I think it'll be a threat to Unrivaled. I think they know you're not going to beat the NBA, but I also think for the WNBA, while you can definitely beat the WNBA, it is easier just to beat Unrivaled, and then your players can make a name for themselves in the WNBA, and they can go and play in this league. They can go and play in this league, and you can get all the best players in the world, and maybe a couple of players, if they only want to play in one or the other, choose to play in this one. But at the end of the day, on the women's side, where you don't want to compete with the WNBA, you want like a 4-month season so that the WNBA stretches. Probably from my ideal scenario is the WNBA stretch from like maybe December to like all this starts from December till whatever, October when it ends.
Meet Project B, the billion-dollar plot twist in women's basketball. Alright, let's talk about the new disruptor that just slid into the DMs of women's basketball like, hey, you up? This, my friends, is Project B. So what exactly is Project B? Think of it as the LIV Golf of basketball, but with better lighting and crossover dribbles instead of golf swings. It's a brand new global league that's already got millions, potentially billions, in investment lined up. The goal? To create a slick, international competition for women's basketball that's so lucrative, even the WNBA might have to peek over the fence like, how much they paying over there? And this isn't just a random idea floating around on Reddit. Oh no, this thing's already 2 years in the making. They've got legit structure, serious names, and one of the deepest checkbooks in sports. Let's run down the roster of who's involved, because this isn't your average startup sports league made up of ex-YouTubers and a prayer. You've got Candace Parker, one of the most respected basketball minds ever, already signed on as an advisor. Former NFL legend Steve Young, yeah, that's Steve Young, is in the mix. Novak Djokovic, tennis superstar and international sports juggernaut, is also attached. And to top it off, Sloane Stephens, another tennis great, is on the investor board. And the league's chief basketball officer, former WNBA All-Star Alana Beard, who isn't just a token figurehead. Beard's got a reputation for being sharp, business-minded, and not afraid to push women's sports into new territory. So, yeah, this isn't just a vanity project. This thing's got brains, star power, and bankroll. Now, how's it all supposed to work? Here's where it gets interesting. Project B plans to feature 6 teams, each with 11 players, competing in 7 two-week tournaments spread across Europe, Asia, and the Americas. The season would run from November to April, which, if you know your schedules, means it won't clash with the WNBA. But here's the kicker. It will clash with Unrivaled, that 3-on-3 league Nafisa Collier co-founded. Yeah, the same one we just talked about. And the people behind Project B know exactly what they're doing. They've studied what LIV Golf did to the PGA. And to make it even juicier, insiders say Project B isn't just paying more, they're offering equity stakes. Yeah, that's right. Players could own a piece of the league itself. Imagine you're Caitlin Clark, and instead of arguing for a $200K salary, you're sitting at the table negotiating stock shares and international marketing deals. So here's the bottom line. Project B is dead serious about shaking up women's basketball. The WNBA's got the culture, Unrivaled's got the creativity, but Project B, they've got the cash. And cash is the one teammate you can't defend against. And speaking of money, let's talk about the nuclear bomb in this whole saga. The rumored $100 million offer for Caitlin Clark.
As your speculation bubble for months about potential international men's and women's league. Sorry, you've already read that. So his first revealed by FOS this week, Carter is no longer part of the plans. At least for now, it sparked confusion what might mean for the Audacious venture if this cachet was no longer part of his calculus. According to Grady Burnett, a former Google and Facebook executive who's co-founded this venture, and so is Project B, the women's league is still being built and a men's league could still be created as well. So it says here, Project B is set to begin with the Women's Basketball League, in large part because of the immense growth and interest in sport. It'll feature 6 teams of 11 players, each that play 7 two-week tournaments across cities in Asia, Europe, and Americas, and is already 2 years in the making. Burnett believes it can be a multi-billion-dollar business. So basically, they're playing 7 two-week tournaments, so that's 14 weeks, which is like 3 months. So my guess is almost like what I projected Caitlin Clark to do in the offseason. I was like, oh, Caitlin Clark should go to the offseason and do like a world tour. So it's like they'll go and play 2 weeks in America. They might play 2 weeks East Coast in America and go around a bunch of places and play games in big arenas. They might go 2 weeks West Coast in America, 2 weeks in China, 2 weeks in like Europe. 2 weeks, I don't know, 2 weeks in like Eastern Europe, 2 weeks in Western Europe. Like it's an interesting one, but it means they're playing all over the world. And obviously there's going to be like 2 weeks in like Saudi and like Dubai and places like that. But
the $100 million offer, Caitlin Clark and the basketball power play heard around the world. All right, grab your popcorn, hide your wallets, and maybe, just maybe, check your jaw, because it's about to drop. Because word on the street is, Caitlin Clark, yes, that Caitlin Clark, Iowa's golden shooter turned WNBA phenom, might be looking at a $100 million contract to headline Project B. Let me say that again for the folks in the cheap seats, $100 million for one player. That's not just a bag, that's the whole luggage claim carousel. Let's put that number into perspective. The WNBA's max salary right now, about $242,000. $242,000. Respectable for most jobs, but for the woman who's out here shattering records, packing arenas, and literally boosting ESPN's viewership, that's like paying Beyonce in cafeteria coupons. Meanwhile, Project B is reportedly ready to back up the armored truck. They're talking $100 million for Caitlin Clark and possibly $50 million for Angel Reese. $50 million just for the woman who turned every LSU postgame into a reality show. You can see why this rumor's got the internet in flames. Now, before you say, come on, there's no way, remember, we've seen this movie before. It's called LIV Golf, and it had golfers leaving the PGA faster than people bail out of Twitter arguments. LIV showed up with Saudi money, dropped 9-figure contracts on players who were barely household names, and boom, they forced a merger discussion with the PGA. They didn't win by popularity, they won by pricing everyone else out. Project B is clearly reading from that same playbook, only this time the target isn't golf, it's women's basketball. And the prize? Caitlin freaking Clark. Because here's the thing, Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a brand. She's a walking TV rating, she's a marketing magnet. When she plays, arenas sell out, jerseys vanish, and highlight reels flood social media. ESPN's women's basketball ratings literally doubled during her NCAA run. She's not the face of a team, she's the face of the entire movement. And that's exactly why Project B wants her. They don't just want a great shooter. They want the gravitational pull of Caitlin Clark's name to bring fans, sponsors, and credibility to a league that's still being built. Picture the marketing. Caitlin Clark, the 100 million woman. They'd sell out arenas in Tokyo, London, and Rio before the first dribble. You can almost hear the promo voiceover now. She broke records in college. Now she's breaking the bank worldwide. Yeah, it's cheesy, but it's also exactly how sports empires get made. Now, what would that kind of deal even look like? Because $100 million doesn't just buy you a player, it buys exclusivity. This wouldn't be a casual side hustle. If Project B is cutting a check that size, you can bet there's a clause that says, you play for us and only us.
How good was Alana Beard? Alana Beard is a four-time All-Star, All-W team member. So yeah, this year she'll serve as the Chief Basketball Officer. Candace Parker, Steve Young, Djokovic, and Sloane Stevens are among investors and advisors. Candace Parker is key. Candace Parker is key. She's going to be key to all of this. It says here, Sela, an entertainment company owned by Saudi-owned public investment fund, will be a partner. And a lot of people are like, oh, you know, this is a league that's being run by the Saudis, man. The Saudis are going to be in everything. If you play FIFA, it's going to be, or EAFC, it's going to be owned by the Saudis. Like, they are going to have, like, they own Newcastle. They have part ownership in Chelsea. The Saudi public investment fund is going to be in everything. It's going to be very hard. Like, if you want to be principled and say you're not doing anything that's even remotely involved in the Saudi investment fund, then a large chunk of some of the stuff you enjoy right now in entertainment, just scrap it. Like, these countries are running out of oil and they're just going, we're going to put money into everything. It is absolutely sports washing. Like, there are moral and ethical things against this, but there are also moral and ethical things. You can look at any single sport league in the world, any single sport team, and you can find moral and ethical reasons to not support it. Like, unless, of course, you just want to be, you know, the fans of Forest Green Rovers or something, or #United. There are issues with that, but all that means is that there's going to be money in it. And again,
it means no WNBA, no unrivaled, no overseas tournaments, just Project B 100% commitment. Basically, Caitlin Clark would go from being the WNBA's poster girl to its biggest threat. And the ripple effect, it'd be nuclear. If Caitlin Clark bounces, the WNBA doesn't just lose a star, they lose momentum. They lose the player who was bringing in a new generation of fans, who made people care about women's basketball in record numbers. You think sponsors won't follow her? Please. Sponsors follow the eyeballs. Nike, Gatorade, State Farm, they'd all be like, so where's Caitlin playing now? Okay, we'll meet you there. And that's the part that scares the WNBA the most. Not just losing talent, but losing attention. Because let's be real, money talks but attention screams. and Caitlin's attention currency is through the roof. You put her in a Project B jersey and boom, instant legitimacy. The league's global overnight. It's like if Taylor Swift joined a random indie band. The next day, they're playing the Super Bowl halftime show. Now let's talk about the fans, because oh boy, the reactions are spicy. One fan said, if Caitlin does this, the WNBA is going back to flying commercial and staying in Motel 6s. Another chimed in, they ruined golf by paying players money they'd never make in their lives. Now they're coming for basketball. And my personal favorite, Unrivaled, might have to drop the un. The internet's divided. Half of them are saying, secure the bag, Caitlin. And the other half are screaming, don't sell the soul of the sport. It's like the world's weirdest moral dilemma, generational wealth or generational legacy. But here's the truth, this isn't about morals, it's about leverage. For decades, women's sports have been asking for investment. Now someone's offering it, just not from the source they expected. And whether it's right or wrong, the sheer threat of that money changes the power dynamic. The WNBA's next CBA talks just went from we want raises to match Saudi oil money or lose your stars. That's not a negotiation, that's a standoff. So let's game this out. If Clark takes it, Project B becomes the new global face of women's hoops overnight. If she declines, she still wins. Because now the WNBA has to answer a billion-dollar question. How do you keep your biggest talent when someone else is dangling generational money in her face? Either way, Caitlin Clark's name just became the most valuable chess piece in basketball. But before we all start printing Project B jerseys, let's hit pause. Big money sounds good, sure, but can this new league actually pull it off? Because there's a fine line between game-changing innovation and expensive fantasy camp.
You show up to Paris and you fill up their biggest stadium, especially depending on who you have. You show up to a certain place and you fill up their stadiums. This league, whether this league works or not, all depends on one player, and it's Caitlin Clark. It's as simple as that. This league depends on Caitlin Clark, and there is a much greater chance that Caitlin Clark plays in this than plays in Unrivaled. Why is there a much greater chance that she plays in this than Unrivaled? It's 5v5. It's simple as that. It's 5v5. She will be paid. If she wants $10 million to play in this league, she'll play in this league. If she wants $50 million to play in this league, she probably... I actually think Caitlin Clark could sign a Ronaldo type deal. A Messi type deal. I think they would give Caitlin Clark 10% of the league. Like that, because of how important she is. I think they would give Caitlin Clark $15, $20 million. And I would not be that surprised if Caitlin Clark's age, if Erin Kane goes, she wants $50 million to play in this league. If they say, okay. If they say, okay. If she says, I want $50 million, or I want $40 million, and I want Aaliyah Boss, and I want Lexi Hull, I want Kate Martin, I want Sabrina Ionescu, I want, heck, for argument's sake, I want Angel Reese in this league as well. I want AJ Wilson in this league. Get it done. And they go, okay, yeah, Aaliyah, how much? You're in Arrival. Okay, you're making what? 300K? Yeah, we'll give you 2 million. Yo, AJ, yeah, you don't really want to play in the offseason. How does 5 million sound? Angel, yeah, you know, you're doing great stuff off the floor. You're probably not playing Unrivaled this year. Unrivaled only paid you 500K last year. Yeah, we'll 10x that. Give 5 million to play in this league. And you can still do all your stuff in like the weeks off. Like half the time you're going to be off. So here's 5 million, just play hard in these games. Like, that's not impossible.